From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is a tropical weather update.
Fred Gossage here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center on this Thursday, June 12th, 2025, with your latest daily tropical weather update. And for the Atlantic Basin, National Hurricane Center still not highlighting any areas of development for the next 7 days. We'll talk about the conditions in place and why that is the case here in just a moment. All the tropical outlook areas are currently still in the eastern Pacific, where things are a little active here still currently, and that will continue for the next little while. It's going to be a little bit before the Atlantic Basin starts to heat up. You can see the jet stream here in the tropical satellite extending across the Caribbean out into the open Atlantic. That's providing wind shear, which is unfavorable for tropical development. Still a little bit of disturbed weather in the southwest Caribbean, not expected to develop. And then onshore thunderstorms there along the Gulf Coast, no tropical development expected from that either. We'll look out farther into the east, central, and Atlantic, and there is a little bit of tropical wave activity rolling off the west coast of Africa, but even aside from climatology saying it's a bit too early for anything to develop out here, we just have unfavorable conditions because we have the jet stream out across the Atlantic providing wind shear, and then we still have our dust and our Saharan air coming off the west coast of Africa, providing dust and dry air here to dry up any tropical waves that come off the west coast of Africa. And this is what we usually see here during the first 6 or so weeks of the tropical hurricane season here in the Atlantic. Early season activity usually has to fight dust and dry air, and then that starts to back off the deeper you go into July and you approach August, which is when those tropical waves coming off Africa usually start to get their act together. And then a big difference this year so far compared to what we have had on the board last year is a large part of the open Atlantic is near or a little bit below average for sea surface temperatures here. So even though the waters are warming up, they're not nearly as warm as they were this time last season. You have to go into the Northwest Caribbean and the Gulf to see significantly above average water temperatures. So things not quite as prime, and they're not immediately prime for tropical development here as we go forward for at least the next 7, 10, maybe 14 days. But this is nothing out of the ordinary. Yes, you certainly can and do sometimes see tropical storms and even occasionally hurricanes develop in the Atlantic Basin during the month of June, but things don't really start to pick up climatologically until you're heading later into July and especially August. That's when the season really ramps up before climatologically speaking, peaking on September 10th and then slowly winding down as we head through October before the hurricane season ends at the end of November.